Hello everyone. Today in this video we will discuss the poem There is Pleasure in the Pathless Wood. The poem is written by Lord Byron. He was one of the most popular poets of 19th century England, and he is also one of the major romantic poets. This poem There is Pleasure in Pathless Woods. It's an extract from his greatest poem, Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, and it's an autobiographical poem. It the poem it contains, or we can say that Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. It constitutes 9 stanzas, and in the stanza described in your study, there is a pledge of his love for nature in all her wealth and munificence. So, nature in all her majesty and incalculable grandeur. So, Byron, he was born, we will discuss about the poet in brief. He was born in January 22nd, 1788 in London. He was son of Captain John Byron and Catherine Gordon. And he was major romantic poet of England. He married Annabella Milbanke in 1815 and he had one daughter named Ada. So his fame lasts upon the publication of the first 2 cantos, Childe Harold Pilgrimage. So we will read the poem Childe Harold Pilgrimage, but before we start reading the poem, we will talk about that the poem is all about the beauty of nature. This poem describes the beauty as well as the pleasure that the poet finds in the company of nature. This part of the poet, it reveals the poet's love for nature. He admires the forest, the seas, and all the objects of nature. And when he is in the company of nature, he does not feel lonely. When he is in forest, he does not feel lonely, and he has great fascination for the sea. He likes the ocean, and the poet compares the strength of man to that of mighty sea. A man who is proud of his knowledge and mental power is helpless before the enormous strength of the sea. So he's talking about the superiority of man, that man has invented many terrible weapons, and he is equipped with such weapons which can turn the earth into heaps of ashes. It can cause devastation. It can cause destruction over the earth, but man cannot control ocean. Man cannot control nature. So nature is all powerful. The empires on the earth can go on changing, but the reign of sea is constant. It remains unchanged and undisturbed. So time too has no effect on him. Men rule over earth, but they cannot rule over the sea. So in this poem, the poet talks about his love for the vast sheet of water, and the poem as well, it describes his love for nature. So we'll start reading the poem. We will read first stanza. There is pleasure in the pathless woods, there is rapture on the lonely shore, there is a society where none intrudes, by the deep sea and music in its roar. I love not man the less, but nature more. From these are interviews in which I steal from all I may be or have been before, to mingle with the universe and feel what I can never express, yet cannot all conceal. So in this poem, the poet describes his impression of the sea. The sea is a part of nature which he loves most. He loves nature and does not feel lovely in the woods. He says that there is a pleasure in the woods which is extended on all the sides. Similarly, he also feels joyful when he is all alone on the seashore. So the seashore fills the heart of the poet with delight and wild ecstasy. While on sea, one does not feel alone. It's like a big society with no disturbances. When we read the second line, there is a rupture on the lonely shore. So, rupture here means that there is an extreme delight on the lonely shore. So, when he is on sea, he says that he does not feel alone. It's like a big society with no disturbances. There is a roaring sound of music, of waves. The music is of the waves. So Byron says that though he loves man, but his love for nature is deeper. So when in the company of the sea, he feels the joy which cannot be described. So here in nature, Byron finds spiritual companionship. No one interferes, no one intrudes. So Byron says he loves nature, but he also loves man. When you will read the line, I love not man the less, but nature more, he says. So Byron seems to prefer the companionship of nature. He feels that in nature's company he can forget all his unhappy experiences of the past, which often torment his heart and mind. And in nature's company, he feels elated, he feels very happy, he feels active. So nature saves him the thing that are not good for him. So we can say that haunt him by his sense of sin and retribution. So the poet says that he merges his own self into nature, and his smallness is transcended by the bigness of nature. And he feels his own enlargement and exhalation in such mingling with the universe. So, thus, we find that Byron's love of nature is a great necessity to him. And in a few words, he says that I love not man the less, but nature more. So this line, it suggests that he loves, though he loves human beings, mankind, but his love for nature is more than his love for man. If we switch over to second stanza, we will read, roll on thou deep and dark blue ocean, roll, 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks the earth with ruin, his control stops with the shore. Upon the watery plain, the wrecks are all thy deed, nor doth remain a shadow of man's ravage save his own, when for a moment, like a drop of rain, he sinks into thy depths with the bubbling groan, without a grave, unnailed, uncoffined, and unknown. So, this stanza he talks about the power of sea. The poet feels extreme joy in the loneliness of seashore near the hills in the southeast of Rome, and he says that the pathless woods on the hills, they create a feeling of great delight. And in that loneliness, the poet hears the sound of waves. This sound is roaring sound, and it appears musical to him. He feels a kind of music. He does not feel himself lonely there. He feels as if the sea is giving him company. The poet is a lover of man, yet comparatively his love for nature is deeper. There are reasons for it. When he wanders in natural surroundings of hills and sea, he feels as if he is a portion of all that. He feels as if he is one with it. So, this is something mystic. He cannot fully express it, but it's a powerful experience and it cannot remain unexpressed. It should be expressed. So, he finds that it's difficult to express what he feels, but at the same time, he finds it difficult to conceal his feeling and thoughts that come to him. So, in this, the poem, it describes his nature for the man, for the sky. So the poet describes, roll on thou deep and dark blue ocean. So the ocean Byron sees is the Mediterranean Sea, which he sees from the Alban hills. The poet says that the sea is very powerful, it's very mighty, and man has no control over the sea. Man can bring disaster over the earth, but it cannot bring any change on the sea, and his control is limited on the to the shores only. He has used his power destructively on his earth. He has ruined it completely. But man tries to control the sea with his fleet of ships. But however great the number of the ships may float upon the sea, these ships they are of no means they loses their power once it come to the power of sea. So man has worked destruction upon the earth, but he is powerless in the ocean. There are no signs of any destruction caused by him. So whatever destruction is caused in the ocean, it is caused by the ocean itself. So ocean is more powerful. Man appears insignificant before the ocean, and he sinks under the waves of the ocean like a drop of rain within a very short time. On earth, some rites and ceremonies are observed at his death, but in the ocean, they are not possible. So, when man is drowned in the ocean, it's by accident only. No funeral bells can be tolled at that time. So, his dead body cannot be laid in a coffin and placed in a grave. So, the poet, in the same way, no stone in his memory can be erected in the ocean at the place where his body finds sinking. So, the last line, the poet tries to suggest the helplessness of man, that man is totally helpless in front before the power of ocean. He will lie flat without any grave, unnailed, uncoffined, and unknown. So, the poet describes the power of sea over man. So, we have read two stanza, and in the next video, we will discuss the further. Thank you.